light and children of the day. We are not of the night or of darkness. Therefore, let us not sleep as the rest do, but let us stay alert and sober. The word of the Lord.
Remain in me as I remain in you, says the Lord. Whoever remains in me bears much fruit. Alleluia, alleluia, alleluia.
The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. Jesus told his disciples this parable. A man going on a journey called in his servants and entrusted his possessions to them. To one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, to a third 1, to each according to his ability. Then he went away. Immediately the one who received 5 talents went and traded them and made another 5. Likewise the one who received 2 made another 2. But the man who received 1 went off and dug a hole in the ground and buried his master's money. After a long time, the master of those servants came back and settled accounts with them. The one who had received 5 talents came forward, bringing the additional 5. He said, "Master, you gave me 5 talents. See, I have made 5 more." His master said to him, "Well done, my good and faithful servant. Since you were faithful in small matters, I will give you great responsibilities. Come, share your master's joy." Then the one who had received 2 talents also came forward and said, "Master, you gave me 2 talents. See, I have made 2 more." His master said to him, "Well done, my good and faithful servant. Since you were faithful in small matters, I will give you great responsibilities. Come, share your master's joy." Then the one who had received the 1 talent came forward and said, "Master, I knew you were a demanding person, harvesting where you did not plant and gathering where you did not scatter. So out of fear I went off and buried your talent in the ground. Here it is back." His master said to him in reply, "You wicked and lazy servant, so you knew that I harvest where I did not plant and gather where I did not scatter. Should you not then have put my money in the bank so that I could have gotten it back with interest on my return? Now then, take the talent from him and give it to the one with 10. For to everyone who has, more will be given, and he will grow rich. But from the one who has not, even what he has will be taken away. And throw this useless servant into the darkness outside, where there will be wailing and grinding of teeth." The Gospel of the Lord.
Why not? I earned it. This is my COVID beard. I don't know how long it'll stay. It's pretty itchy. I don't like it. But I thought I would wear it for a trophy, at least for a bit. COVID did not make my eyes get any better, though. But again, I thank you all. What a blessing it is to know and to feel the prayers and the gift that God gave of healing very quickly. And so this is no doubt, again, what we've been praying and asking for. And so let us continue and never let our guard down in our prayers and our thanksgivings for gifts rendered. But today we have a strange homily. It was over with the kids in one of the classrooms. I won't say which, but they were the teacher was reading the gospel, except for the last part, all the way up to the 3, and then asked, which one do you think Jesus was most pleased with? And all of the boys said the last guy, the one who buried it and saved the talent. Only the girl got it right. She said, no, it was the first 2. But it just goes to show it's strange. It kind of rubs us wrong. What's going on here? Why is it not good to save something and protect it? And that's, of course, the point that we are looking for, that Jesus is trying to pull out of this. This is not normally what we're going to think about when we think of worldly things. And we got to put it in perspective when Jesus said it. But one of the things that rubs us also wrong sometimes in our culture is each according to his ability. We don't like that. We live in a time when it is practically taboo to say someone can't do this or doesn't have the same talent for that. This can devastate people. We can think, I'm being looked down upon because I can't do this or I don't have that. At the same time, we're in a culture where we strive so often to drive our children to get ahead of the pack and show their superior value by means of their superior accomplishments, their superior ability. So, and this is easy. Why not? We have to do the same thing to get ahead when we have to promote ourselves on our application to show that we're better than the other talent out there. So we're in a schizophrenic type of place. And neither one of these extremes are good, are right. Yet notice that Jesus today, as he puts the master in the story, saying the exact same thing to both the first and the second servant, making no distinguishment that one had 5 and made 5 and one had 2 and made 2. He said to both exactly the same words. Well done, my good and faithful servant. Since you were faithful in small matters, I will give you great responsibilities. So he didn't distinguish 5, 2. Those are small matters to him. And it leads you to believe that if the one guy would have done something with the one, he would have got the exact same response. Same thing. They would have all been seen equal for giving away and doing what they could with what they had. Yet, how often do we, because of our culture's ways, compare ourselves to others and set the bar by those we suppose to be the most talented, and they're the bar. And then we become discouraged and disheartened and stop trying because we know we could never measure up. According to whose standards? It's not God's standards, not obviously it's Jesus' standards. He indicates today that as long as one makes efforts according to their ability, they are equal to everyone who acts similarly. And what is the whole parable about anyways? Got to remember, this parable comes out of and was in the context of last week's parable, where Jesus started it off with saying, what is the kingdom of God like? And he's talked about 5 virgins that were wise and 5 that weren't so wise. And so he's continuing that on. He's talking about heaven, the standards of heaven, not the standards of earth. So when he talks about talents and prophets, and I don't mean Prophet, prophets that get out and speak the word, but prophets, Prophet, F-I-T-S, profits, making good or making investments and returns on investments. He's talking about heavenly treasure. This then could never be measured by worldly standards. Absolutely impossible. In fact, he was so very clear that it would be very hard for the worldly, he was so very clear about this that he even made the point that it will be hard for those who are rich in the world to ever get to heaven. That was another hard one for people to hear too. He's talking about our value being in how much of ourselves and our talents we invest in heavenly pursuits. That's what he's saying. And I'm supposing we all got that. But the first reading from Proverbs speaks of the worthy wife whose value is far beyond worldly measurement. And what does it say? It even says her value is far beyond pearls. That's the expression. Far beyond pearls. Pearls were exceedingly expensive. And why is her value so high? Because she reaches out her hand to the poor and extends her arms to the needy. That is what makes her value. And he goes on to say, charm is deceptive and beauty fleeting. Yet how many of our daughters, and you, my dear sisters, struggle because the world, including myself and my brothers, men and others, measure you only by your physical beauty. How often do we do that in our worldly standards? I know of a woman who, when she passed, it was discovered that she had several beautiful outfits that she simply would not wear. She apparently never thought herself beautiful enough to wear such things. She wouldn't even let people take pictures of her because she never thought herself beautiful enough for those either. Yet this woman would give to excess of the little that she ever earned. She never got far ahead in life, and when she did, she didn't help herself because she'd give even more away once she got a little ahead. She finally, late in life, got her small degree, her little associate's degree in computer programming, and then got a job as a customer service rep. This was a lowly job, according to worldly standards. Yet she gave all of herself to her work and often was in trouble for helping customers too much, sometimes even taking the time to help the elderly customer on the other end set up their computer so they could safely do online banking. She was a customer service rep for a bank. And oftentimes she would also talk to them about faith, matters of faith, in this time of struggle and worries about financial struggles. And the number one comment that came from her continual high customer satisfaction rating was, "I didn't think my bank cared so much about me." I believe that this woman, when she gets to heaven, if she isn't already there, will be seated next to the likes of former queens and princesses, like St. Elizabeth of Hungary, who we will celebrate this week, and who gave lots away. And she was the daughter of a king, married to a prince. And after he died, she went and gave everything she had away to the poor. These princess saints had more to give, but will hear the exact same words, I believe, that this woman will hear. "Well done, my good and faithful servant. Since you were faithful in small matters, I will give you great responsibilities." That woman that I believe will be seated next to the worldly beautiful queens and princesses from this world was my sister Laura. You see, it doesn't matter how much you give. Sorry. Talk about special people. It's hard to get through. It doesn't matter how much you give away for the sake of the kingdom in pure quantity. It matters only that what percentage that is compared to what you have been given. There will be some who had much less to give, but will be much higher because they gave more of what they had. It all depends on how much you give compared to how much you've been given. And so I wish to constantly give you, my brothers and sisters, many messages of how amazing you are, and especially my daughters and sisters. If you have any problems with wondering how beautiful you are, just call Father John. We'll talk about it. We'll talk a lot about it. And so, my brothers and sisters, I am very proud of you because I see all of you like I see my sister. This place is a giving community. And the measurement of our value is in all that we have given away and all that we will continue to give.